Welcome to Wonder Math. Today we're going to go over SAT practice test number 1, section 4. There will be two parts, part 1, number 1 through 20, and second part 21 through 38. You can print the PDF version of the test by clicking the link below. And there are a total of 38 questions for 55 minutes. This is calculated a lot test, and there's no penalty for wrong answer, so always pick the best guess if you're not sure about the answer. And here are the formula that will be provided to you on the first page of each section. So number 1, John runs at different speed as part of his training program. The graph shows his target heart rate at different times during this workout. On which interval is the target heart rate strictly increasing, then decreasing? So that means we are looking for the region where the graph goes up and down. So 0 to 30 goes up and stays steady. 40 to 60, it goes up and down. So probably B. But let's go ahead and double check with the other answers. 50 to 65, it goes down and up, so it decreases and increases. D is 70 to 90. It stays steady and then increases. So it must be B. And you can save time by bubbling all your answers at the end of the test section. So try to just answer all the questions first. Maybe first, 50 minutes, and last 5 minutes you can go back and bubble your answers and double check your work. Yeah? Number 2, if y equals to k times x, where k is a constant, and y is 24, where x is 6. So what is the value of y when x is 5? So we have to find the constant k. So y is 24 when x is 6, so k times 6. So when you divide by 6 on both sides, you get k equals to 4. So your equation becomes y equals to 4 times x. Now the question is, what is y when x is 5? So you plug it in 5, so you get 20 for your y. So C. In the figure above, line L and M are parallel, and line S and T are also parallel. If angle 1 is 35, then what is the measure of angle 2? So if this is 35, this is 35 vertical angles. And if this is 35, this is 35 because it is corresponding angles. And this will be all to interior angles, so 35. So there are only 2 angle measures, either 35 or 180 minus 35, because it's a linear pair. So 145. It's either 145 or 35, so it has to be D. Yeah. Number 4, if 16 plus 4x is 10 more than 14, so 16 plus 4x is 10 more than 14 means what? 24. What is 8x? So then here, instead of solving for x, just go ahead and solve for 4x, which gives you 8. Then what are we looking for? In order to get 8x, you can just multiply this whole x equation by 2. So 8xn equals to 16. Sometimes, a lot of times, there will be a question like this where you don't have to completely solve for a variable, but you will see an easier way to find the answer using what they give you. Number 5, which of the following graph best shows a strong negative association between D and T? So, meaning what? Negative slope, right? Strong negative slope here. Here's D. A hospital stores one type of medicine in 2 decagram container. Based on the information given in the box above, how many 1 milligram doses are there in 2 decagram? So first of all, 1 decagram equals to 10 grams. So 2 decagram equals to 20 grams, right? So we are converting 20 grams into milligrams. So whenever you convert the units, put the unit you're getting rid of in denominator, and whatever you want to solve for, you put it on top. So you see how grams will be canceled out, and it will turn into milligrams. So then now you have to look at the units. So 1 gram equals to how many milligrams? 1,000. So 20 times 1,000 adds 3 zeros to 1, so it will be a D. Number 7, the number of rooftops with solar panel installation in 5 cities is shown in the graph above. If the total number of installation is 27,500, what is an appropriate level for the vertical axis of the graph? All right, so we want to know whether this is in tens, hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands. So A has 9, 5, 6, D has 4, and here's like 3.5. So when you add these, I get 14 plus 6 is 20, 20 plus 4 is 24, plus 35 is 27.5. But what do you have to multiply to get into 27,500? So you're moving how many zeros from here? 1, 2, 3. So that means you have to multiply by 3 zeros, which is in thousands. So your answer is C. Number 8. For what value of n is absolute value of n minus 1 plus 1 equals to 0? So just write it out. Absolute value of n minus 1 plus 1 equals to 0. So if you're solving for n minus 1, absolute value of n minus 1, move 1 to the other side. So it's negative 1. So when will absolute value of something become negative? Never, right? So the answer is D. Number 9. So the speed of the sound wave in the air depends on the air temperature. The formula above shows the relationship between A is the speed of the sound wave in feet per second, and the air temperature in degree, T is the air temperature in degree in Fahrenheit. So which of the following expression expresses the air temperature in terms of speed of sound wave? So we are writing T in terms of A. So solve for T, right? So if you have A equals to 1,052 plus 1.08 T, move 1052 by subtracting it. So it is 8 minus 1052 equals to 1.08 T. So now divide by 1.08 from the whole thing. So T equals to A minus that and divided by 1.08. Number 10. So same question. Which of the following air temperature will be the speed of a sound wave be closest to 1,000 feet per second? So you're solving for T when A is 1,000. Right? So that equals to 1052 plus 1.08 T. So don't worry about this part. So move 1052. So then you get negative 52 equals to 1.08 T. So now you divide by 1.08, 1.08. So it must be negative. So here use a calculator. Negative 52 divided by 1.08. You get around negative 48 when you round it, right? 0.1. So you will drop 0.1. Number 11. Which of the following number is not a solution of the inequality? So let's go ahead and solve it. It's better to move the smaller x's to keep the x positive. And the only time that you flip the inequality is when you multiply by a negative number. Okay? Not when you're subtracting, when you multiply by a negative number. So I get negative 5 is greater or equal to x minus 3 at 3 at 3. So I get x is less than or equal to negative 2. That means can be greater. Negative 1 is greater than negative 2. So that cannot be your solution. 12. Based on the histogram above, of the following, which is the closest to the average number of seeds per apple? So there are three seeds in 2 apples, right? So you will do 3 times 2 plus, that's total number of seeds. 4 times 0, nothing. 5 times 4 plus 6 times 1, 6. 7 times 2 plus 8 times 0, nothing. 9 apples had 3. So that is 6 plus 20 plus 6 plus 14 plus 9 times 3 is 27. So I'll plug into the calculator. 6 plus 20 plus 6 plus 14 plus 27 equals to 73 total number of seeds. And how many apples were there? They said instead of counting all this, a lot of times they give you the information. So you divide by 12. So divide by 12. So then you get 6.08, so about 6 seeds. Number 13. A group of 10th grade students responded to a survey that asked which math course they were currently enrolled in. The survey data were broken down as shown in the table below, which of the following categorized accounts for approximately 19% of all the survey responded. So all the survey respondents is 310, and 90% of means you multiply by its decimal. So 19% means when you move decimal 2 decimal places to the left, so it's 0.19. If it's off of something, you multiply. So 310 times 0.19, you get about 58.9. So 58.9, if you round it, it's 59, right? Approximately 59. So here it is, 59. Geometry, male in taking geometry. 14. The table below lists the length to the nearest inches of a random sample of 21 brown bullhead fish. The outlier measures of 24 is an error. All right, there was an error here. Of the mean, median, and range of the value listed, which will change the most if the 24-inch measurement is removed. All right, so mean is the average. You add them all, and you divide by number of fishes, and there were 21 brown fishes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 3, so 21. So if it gets removed, that means the total will decrease by 24. And if you divide by 21, that's less than 1, right? Less than 1 in difference. What about median? If there are 21, but now there are 20 fishes, right? So then the median is the middle number, probably the 10th and 11th one, or the average of these two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, they're the same. So from 24, from here 12 to here 12, the difference was 0. What about range? Range is the greatest number, 24 minus the smallest, 8, which is 16. 16 changed to now, when we get rid of 24, now it's 16 minus 8, which is 8. So from 16 to 8, there was a minus 8 difference, so that has the most difference, the range. Now 15. So what does c-intercept represent in the graph? So if it's a linear function, it's y equals mx plus b, and the y-intercept or c-intercept here is always the initial value. There will be lots of questions involving slope, which is m, rate of change, and the y-intercept, okay? So it's basically asking what the y-intercept is. It must be the increase is the rate, not the total number. It's the initial cost of the renting the boat. Even you don't read the whole thing. Here's the number of hours and total cost. The C, $5 represents the initial cost to rent the boat. Y-intercept. So same question, which of the following represents a relationship between H and C? So you're just writing the equation. So y-intercept, y equals to slope x plus y-intercept 5. So you already know you can eliminate A and D. What's the slope? You have to read the scales, not just count the units, read it. So rise over run, right? Slope is rise over run. So it's 1, 2, 3, going up, run. Not 4, 0 to 1 is 1. So slope is 3. So each hour, you have to pay $3 extra. Right? Number 17. The complete graph of the function f of f is shown in the xy plane above. For what value of x? We are looking for x value is the value of f of x at its minimum. So at the minimum, what is the x value? 1, 2, 3, negative 3. So the answer is B. 18. In the xy plane, if 0, 0 is a solution to the system of inequality above, which of the following relationship between A and B must be true? So plug it in. X is 0, y is 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0. So here I get 0 and A. So this means what? A is greater than 0. So A is a positive number. So here 0 and greater B. So this means what? B is less than 0. So B is negative. So obviously A must be greater than B because that's positive. A is greater than B. Huh? A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drink for $2 each. The food truck revenue, the profit from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks. So if we call S for salads, D for number of drinks, S plus D was 209 total. They sold total of 209 salad and drinks in one day, and the profit was $836.50. So the salad cost 6.5 S, number of salads, and drink was $2 each times D. So how many salads were sold? So we're solving for S. So what would you do? So system of equation, I'll go ahead and make the top multiply by 2. Why? Because then if I have 2D here, I can simply get rid of them, right? By subtracting. So when I multiply these by all 3 by 2s, I'll write it here. I get 2S plus 2D, right? Multiply all this by 2. I get 418. And then what would you do to get rid of 2Ds? I have to subtract. If they had opposite signs, you will add them. So 6.5 minus 2S is 4.5S. And 836.50 minus 418 will be what? 836.5 minus 418. I get 418.5. So then divide by 4.5. Divide by 4.5. So now divide by 4.5. So you get 93. So B. So here's 20. Alma bought a laptop computer at a store that gave a 20% discount off its original price. That means you paid 80% of it because you got 20% taken off. The total amount she paid to the cashier was P dollars, including 8% sales tax. That means you're gonna pay the 100% of, the price of the item, 1, and 8% will be 0.8. That's how much you pay. Because you don't just pay the tax, you pay the amount of the cost of the laptop after discount, and you add 88% of it. Which of the following represents the original price of the computer in terms of P? All right. So here, you have 80% discounted. So the original price is P. No, P is how much he paid. All right. Let's say X is the original price. So paid 80% of the original price, so 0.8 X. And then you have to pay the tax, which is 1 point. 1 point is this price right here, 80%, and 0.8 is the tax, right? But the question is, write the original price in terms of P. So now you're solving for X in terms of P, so you divide by 0.8 and you divide by 1.08. 1.08. So then you get X equals to P divided by these two numbers. So the answer is D. So here, with these percentage for sales and the text, it's really helpful if you really understand what you have to do. So for example, you're trying to buy a $200 shoes. That's pretty expensive. Let's say it was 20% off. Then what would you do? Again, if it's 20% off, that means you're paying 80% of it, right? So you just gotta multiply this by 0.8. When you move 2 decimal to the left, it becomes 0.8. So you're paying $160, okay? Now you went to the restaurant and you have to count the tips, right? How much you have to give for tips. So let's say it was someone's birthday in your family and it costs about 200 total. And the tax or the tips was 15%. Then what would you do? You have to pay the original price, 200, and then you have to pay 15% of it. So you will multiply by 0.15, so that's 200 times 1.15, including the tips. So you have to pay 230 total. I'm sure you have to add the tax, but here I'm trying to show you how to add the percentage and how to subtract the percentage, okay? This comes really helpful when you go shopping or calculate your tips, okay? All right.